What is going on, guys? It is your role model of the IWC. And yes, look at me. You saw the thumbnail. You know what we're talking about just here in a little bit. But this is your AEW Fallout from All Out September 9th review of AEW. And now this was a home run show. After 2 nights of less than stellar wrestling with Raw and NXT that really were not just, it was just boring to me. This kept me engaged. I'm going to be honest with you. We were 2 hours, we literally ended this show. I looked down at my phone, I was like, it's only felt like an hour. I felt like everything was happening. Everything was keeping me engaged. I was into it. Very good show from Dynamite tonight. I applaud this show. Phenomenal show. We get this show right off the bat with an interview from Tony Schiavone. We see MJF and Chris Jericho both pull up in their cars. Schiavone asks him, he asks them about their stuff this weekend. Jericho says everyone saw him lose, or says everybody saw MJF lose to a cheater. And the one thing, though, is MJF will be a champion soon. MJF says it means the world coming from a guy like Chris Jericho. The fact that Jericho had to touch and lose to Orange Cassidy is straight up criminal, but Jericho will regain it in the future. He will, once they become Le Champion, Chris Jericho. And then both men started walking away from each other, and both of them mumbled, "What a loser," referring to the other guy. So that's going to be your next feud. I'm telling you right now, that is going to be your next feud. With Jericho, I could see them going in a situation where when we're approaching full gear, that's going to be the match. Jericho and MJF. Jericho putting over MJF and getting MJF back into the limelight where he will be able to take down Jon Moxley. I can see it happening. I can see it. Next, we got the Jurassic Express starting things off in the ring against the Lucha Brothers. Very good match here from both teams. But like I've been saying, the Lucha Brothers, they need to string together some victories. That is one of my biggest concerns with the AEW tag team division is I believe the Lucha Bros should be a headliner of the division. Not necessarily champs because I think FTR are the right guys, but I want to see them lurking around the title picture, which they aren't currently doing. But we'll have some patience. You need some babyface teams for the FTR guys to end up going up against. Jurassic Express could easily be that team. We see the Jurassic Express win this match. After this match, we have Rey Fenix push Pentagon Jr. And you can kind of start feeling tension. I'm thinking maybe we're going to separate them. Maybe we're going to have a Rey Fenix versus Pentagon match in the future. Maybe we're going to have them go their separate ways. Maybe Pentagon's going to go chase Moxley. I don't know. But then we have Eddie Kingston hop on the mic. He tells them, just stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. He says, I'm the only one here for you guys. Your buddy, your European buddy, he ain't here. Refer to Pac. And then he says, and then he refers to Butcher and Blade. He's like, your wife, Blade, she ain't here either. I'm the only one here for you guys. There were 5 of us in the Battle Royal. And you pointed out Rey Fenix kicked Blade in the face, and that was not a mistake. And then he asks Pentagon, where were you in the Battle Royal? We should be running this place. And then he demands that Rey Fenix and Pentagon make amends, shake hands. Pentagon pushes Rey, starts getting more tension. Eddie then says, listen, you're my best friend. He's your brother. Make up, shake hands. Then they both shake hands. They hug each other. And then Eddie, after this was done, I'm glad they brought this up because this was one of my main concerns about the Battle Royal. Eddie Kingston was never, and I mean never, eliminated. It's an over-the-top Battle Royal. He never went over the top. He went under. He went under the ropes to get out onto the outside. Did he touch the ground? Absolutely. But he never went over the ropes. And then Eddie Kingston ends this off saying, and by the way, maybe you guys should read the rules because I didn't lose that Battle Royal. You're damn right you didn't, Eddie. You're damn right. He went under the ropes. I think we might get a situation where Eddie Kingston might be able to weasel his way in against Moxley, and that would be good. Next, we have Lance Archer with obviously Jake the Snake Roberts. They say Moxley has nothing to look forward to when the Murderhawk Monster becomes the champion because everybody dies. Everybody dies except Moxley. Remember that, Lance. Remember that when you lose on the October 15th episode of Dynamite. Remember that. Moxley ain't dropping the title to Archer. I'm willing to bet y'all $5. He ain't losing to Archer. Just going off on a limb. Just going off on a limb. Next, we get to hear from Matt Hardy following the injury scare. He says, thank you to the fans. He says, on Saturday, he suffered a scary fall, but the outpouring of love has been mind-blowing to him. He says, after a myriad of testing, he's expected to make a full recovery. Glad to hear that Matt Hardy is expected to be fine. That's great. Hopefully he does get better quicker than they predict. Hopefully we see Matt Hardy soon in the ring. He says he's the luckiest man alive because he has a beautiful family. He points out Rebby Hardy, his wife, and her carrying one of their children. He shouts out his 2 kids at home, and he said he's sorry for putting his family through the pain. He's sorry for putting us through it because he's seen how much we cared about a pro wrestler. And he says that shows how much the fans care about the performers. Yes, Matt, we do care about you. I tweeted it out. Yes, thank you for putting your life on the line. I don't think we ever give them enough appreciation. You put your bodies on the line each and every single night, and it's for our entertainment. We sit there, we enjoy the shows, we sit there, and we let you into our lives. And for you to be able to do that is absolutely amazing. So I applaud you. Great job, Matt Hardy, for everything you've done in the pro wrestling business. And to any wrestlers out there, I don't think we say it enough, but we do appreciate you. Whether we criticize you or not, we appreciate you putting your body on the line. Just know that. He says he's sorry that the match wasn't all that he thought he could have been. He said that someone in the feud, he said it might have been a good thing because someone in that feud could have been hurt badly, whether it was him or Sammy, if things continued. He said he's going to go get healthy, and when he comes back healthy, he is going to chase what he really came for, the AEW championship. I'm excited to see Hardy in the race. It should be fun. He says his journey is not over because of us, because without us, there would be no Matt Hardy. Great promo. I was on the verge of shedding a tear. You could really feel the passion in his voice when he was thanking the fans. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought he was retiring because he looked sad when he came out. I was like, oh no, we can't have Matt Hardy retire. Like, I understand injuries they're not anything. Head injuries especially are not something to take lightly. But if Matt Hardy would have retired tonight, I don't think that the main story of the night would be what it is tonight. I think the main story would be Matt Hardy. And rightfully so, because Matt Hardy has had a very good career. I'm glad that he's able to continue that career in AEW. Next, we get Angelio of the Hybrid 2. Do you remember them? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't remember the last time we've seen them on Dynamite. It's been a long-ass time since we've seen those guys. Angelio of the Hybrid 2 was facing Orange Cassidy. It's about a solid 3-minute match here. It was really just to get Orange Cassidy over, give him a win that's not against Jericho, give him a non-gimmick type of win. Orange Cassidy, he will be in a championship picture, whether that's against Brody Lee or Moxley or Lance Archer. If Lance Archer wins, he will be in a championship picture by the end of 2020. I guarantee you that. But after this match, we have Santana and Ortiz tack Orange Cassidy from behind with the baton. Then the best friends come on down to chase off Proud and Powerful. And then they challenge Santana and Ortiz to a parking lot brawl next week. That should be good. I can't wait for that. That that will be my last AEW review before I leave for college. That is literally the day before I leave. So make sure you show that one some love. Next we had Alex Marvez. He tried to get a word with the Young Bucks. He opens the door and he gets super kicked by Nick and Matt Jackson. I don't know who did it today, but somebody must have pissed in their Cheerios, because they just. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know why they're upset. But different type of Young Bucks than we're used to seeing. Next, we have Kip Sabian with Penelope, and now this is where the big announcement comes, fellas. We got them announcing his best man for his wedding. And then he tells Tony, because Tony's in the ring, he said if he would have wanted a member of the announce team to come down, he would have asked JR, because JR knows how to have a good time. Then he goes on to promote his Twitch, says / Kip Sabian on Twitch. Then he introduces his best man, and Puff comes on out. I don't know who Puff is, but Kip says he appreciates Puff for subscribing. And he says, no, I said you're the best subscriber, not the best man. And he said, don't forget to resub next month. And before you guys click out of this video, make sure you listen to Kip Sabian. Don't forget to subscribe to yours truly, the role model. And if you want to go to Kip Sabian's Twitch and sub to him, I'm sure he would appreciate it. But make sure you give me a sub, man. Make sure you give me a sub. And then he says, he tries it again. He says, my best man, and then it comes out, Brian Pillman Jr. Kip asked what he's doing out there. He says, I saw your text saying you're the best man. He says, I sent you that text because it's your birthday. And I said, you're the best, man. And we're not even really friends. And then Brian Pillman goes back to the back. He says, I hope your birthday sucked. Then he does it one more time, and this time it is Miro. Yes, Miro, formerly known as Rusev. That's why the shirt's on, baby. That's why the shirt's on. Happy Rusev Day. Happy Miro Day, man. I can't wait to get in this in about 15, 20 seconds after I'm done reading the rest, because I've been jumping at the bit to get to this part, man. Miro says he has spent the last 10 years in the same house under the same glass ceiling, with an imaginary brass ring, and you can take that brass ring and shove it up your ass. His name is Miro. Elite recognizes elite. Of course, he's going to be Kip Sabian's best man. Make sure you go subscribe to him on Twitch. And his name is Miro, and he is all elite. Then you hear the Miro Day chants. Yes, Miro Day. Happy Rusev Day. Happy Miro Day. And guess what? Guess what, Vince? This ain't him mocking them, motherfucker. This is him over. This ain't a mockery. They didn't mock him. People want to see this guy. And I hope and I pray that Miro comes bigger and better than he ever was in the WWE. I hope you look at him and you're able to sit there and realize how much gold you had in your hands with Rusev Day that you passed up on. You want to make money, Vince? Rusev was your golden ticket. I hope to God that Miro makes AEW a massive amount of money that you can sit there and be jealous about and be like, well, why didn't we know about this guy? You did it to yourself, Vince. You caused it. It's not a mockery. It is him being over. I hope Miro is the AEW champion. I hope Miro is the biggest thing on AEW. Just to stick it to Vince. How can you have somebody like Miro so over with the fans and miss your opportunity? Shameful, Vince. Shameful. And you call yourself a businessman. Ridiculous. I swear to God, if this man becomes even 1/10 of reaching his potential, Vince is going to be pissed. Because this guy right here, he has the it factor. He has the talent in the ring. He is literally all the ingredients to be a very successful, very profitable star. I hope he is the biggest thing in AEW. You like that? You like that? You like that? I've been waiting to say that for quite some time. Ever since we got that little notification that he was released, I've been waiting to say that. Vince, you fucked up. That's on you. But another man's trash is another man's treasure. Tony Khan, I doubt he's gonna do the same thing. Doubt it. Next, we have Hangman being interviewed by Tony Schiavone. He asks how Hangman felt following Saturday. Hangman says he feels fine. Tony's like, don't give me that answer. That's the generic answer. Don't give me that. How do you really feel? Hangman says he couldn't even hear all the fans. That you might have been able to hear him, but he couldn't because he felt like it was inevitable. He felt like everybody just thought it was inevitable that Kenny and Hangman would fall apart. But it wasn't inevitable. He said the FTR guys should have never even been the number one contenders, but it's all my fault. I lost two of my best friends. I was stupid to think that the FTR were like me. They just used me. He feels full of poise. He says that him and Kenny had a lot of problems and a lot of victories, and now that they lost, it's only a matter of time before they climb back up to the number one spot in the tag team division. So Hangman, obviously not holding a grudge over Omega, says he's down to team with Omega once again. Next, we get Janela and Sonny Kiss versus Jericho and Jake Hager. Now, if I'm going to be honest with you, this was the only thing on this card that I did not care about. They really served no purpose. It was a fun match. Sonny Kiss had a little bit of interaction with Hager and Jericho where it looked like he was going to win. But at the end of things, Jericho had to use a fire extinguisher to allow Jake Hager to get up the pin over Sonny Kiss, protecting Sonny Kiss, protecting Janela. To be honest with you, it wasn't needed, but that's whatever. And then after the match, we have Jake Hager and Jericho. Jericho says it's a new page for the tag team division. They're going to build up their record in the tag team division, and they want to become the AEW tag champions. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they're missing the ball here. I think Santana and Ortiz should be the ones pushed as the tag team, because they're legitimately a tag team. They're legitimately a tag team. But Jericho and Hager, it'll be interesting. Next, we have MJF. Yes, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, the salt of the earth. Your uncrowned AEW world champion. Yes, you're uncrowned. He is the champion, but they won't recognize it. It's beyond me, honestly. MJF says he should have the belt right now, but Dictator John used an illegal maneuver, and he says, I don't even blame John. And then he says, my campaign team, they're the ones to blame. And then he fires them all. He says, oh, now you're smiling, Nina. You're smiling when I didn't ask you to smile. Then he gets up in Nina's face, screaming at her, kicks Nina out of the room. Nina has to run out of the room crying. Then Wardlow says, sir. He says, oh, now I'm sir to you, Wardlow. You didn't think that when you costed me the match. Wardlow then gets up in his face. And then MJF says, last time I checked, Tony Khan doesn't sign your checks. I do. So if I was you, I'd get out of my face. And then MJF says, listen, I won't fire you because I see the potential, and quite honestly, you only have one friend, and it's me. And he says, if you don't get it together, I'll put you and your family back on the streets. So do we have any problems now? Wardlow says, do they have no problems? Then he said, it's time to get the planning back. It's time to get back on top. MJF, like I said, sue Moxley's ass now. That should be Wardlow's redemption. He should come up with a plan to sue him. That's what it should be. Next, we have Jon Moxley. He says he feels and knows that he's unstoppable. He says when he looks at the monster of Lance Archer that everybody thinks is a monster, all he sees is a man. Next, we had FTR and Tully Blanchard in the ring. Tully says that Kenny Omega and Hangman Page fought hard, but in the 31st minute, FTR became the tag team champions and they became the best in the world. Then Cash Wheeler takes the mic. He says they had the best tag team division in the world. They had to fight for each victory on their path to the championship. He said it was a dream facing STU. Just imagine what it would have been like if they were still in their prime. Then he says, and we also have Private Party. And then they're like, it's still just Private Party. Then Dax gets on the mic, says, "We are the top guys now." And then he goes on to say, "Billy, just because you're a legend doesn't mean you and your son can jump the line. And next week, Jurassic Express, you have the chance to face us, but it ain't for the title. Maybe if you beat us next week, we'll give you a shot at the title." And then they get like a little worked up. They said, "A comedy gimmick of Tarzan and a dumbass dinosaur ain't running our division." Then the Jurassic Express get in the ring. They said the FTR guys say it's not a fight. We're just here to celebrate tag team wrestling. Then they say, "You know what? Let's offer a toast." They offer the toast. They don't even do it. They throw the napkins into Luchasaurus's face, and they try to get out of the ring. They're surrounded by all the tag teams, not letting them leave. And Jurassic Express pours the ice from the cooler that FTR brings to the ring over the FTR guys. So next week should be really good with Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy against FTR. Jurassic Express, I imagine, are going to have a really solid match against FTR next week. I'm actually looking forward to that. Next, we have Darby Allin come on out. And it's not even Darby Allin. It's actually Ricky Starks dressed as Darby Allin like he has been doing. He says it is finally happens. He got injured. He dislocated his pinky, and there's a thumbtack stuck in his foot. So now he can't even go skateboard with his friends. He says that Darby ends up writing relentless over everything. He writes it on his body. He writes it on his skateboard. But what he really is reckless. Nobody wants to team with him because he's reckless. Ricky then says, "I know relentless. When you come back, Darby, I'm gonna relentlessly and absolutely beat your ass next time you show up." So Ricky Starks and Darby Allin is far from over. We will see this match. I imagine this match is probably going to be on the October 14th edition of AEW. Since we're already stacking that one up with the AEW Championship, I imagine this is probably when this will culminate. Next, we get the official debut while being signed, her first match as a signed member of the AEW roster. We get Tay Conti versus Nyla Rose. Tay Conti did put up a good effort here against Nyla Rose, but Nyla Rose hits the Beast Bomb, which was a bit too much for Tay Conti. And then Vicky, after the match, hops on the mic saying, "Excuse her, we aren't going anywhere. We are the Vicious Vixens." And then we have Sheeta come out and save Tay Conti, because Nyla looked like she was going to attack Tay Conti. So I think what we're going to get here is probably Nyla and Sheeta part 2. And then after that, I imagine we're probably going to get Big Swole. I don't think Big Swole's going to win the title. And then I imagine we might get Tay Conti after that. And I don't think Tay Conti will. But after Tay Conti, I believe we're probably going to get Britt Baker. So three short-term feuds for Hikaru Shida, I think, is what we are in store for. Next, we learned that Tony Khan had fined $500,000 to the Young Bucks for hitting a super kick onto Alex Marvez. Good storytelling there by making sure, because they did push people. Oh, you hit an official, yeah. Stay with that. Where it doesn't matter how big you are. If you do something wrong, you deserve to be fined. Very good. Keeping the continuity there. Next, we have JR sitting down with Kenny Omega. He asks how he processed what went down on Saturday. Kenny says, "I was a champ, and now I'm not. You win and you lose. It's part of the game." They had chemistry, and he thought he was meant to do that. He said he was supposed to come to the company. He was supposed to be their ace. He was supposed to be the first AEW champion, but he lost his way. But he found his purpose with Hangman. JR says that he earned respect. What's next? Kenny says, "You can say they have the best tag team division in wrestling," which they do, by the way. He says, "And the part I learned about Hangman is not a part that I like." He says, whether Hangman wants to reconcile with the Bucks or me, I don't think that's going to happen. He doesn't feel like we could reconcile. He says, "I gave tag team wrestling a year, but it's time for me to go back to singles action. And I'm going to do it the same way everybody wanted me to do it. What did everybody want to see Kenny Omega? They wanted to see the cleaner. They wanted to see heel Omega. That's what we're in store for. I'm telling you right now, Full Gear, Moxley and Omega. Now that could be huge. That could be major. That'd be really good, if you ask me. Next, we get Brody Lee versus Dustin. Now, this was actually a great match. Before the match, we had Dustin Rhodes attack Brody during the ring announcements while they're in this corner. Is Brody Lee? Yeah, whatever. They fight out into the crowd area. Brody ended up actually kicking out of a crossroads once this match did get underway. Brody really did struggle to beat Dustin, which kind of was interesting because he squashed Cody, and Cody did go the distance and beat Dustin last year. But obviously Dustin looks like he has a lot more in the tank left than what Cody did. Then Brody Lee ends up winning this match with a discus lariat. The Dark Order come on out to celebrate. They carry out Q Team Marshall, and it ends the show with the Dark Order standing tall, as they should. Best faction all wrestling. Best faction. Then we actually did get an announcement. I'm not going to go in depth. Cody, they hyped it up that Cody was going to say something after the show. He introduced the Go Big Show, which is kind of like a talent show. It kind of reminds me of like an America's Got Talent, but you got to do something crazy and blow their minds. And we saw like, what is it? Monster trucks jumping over. I'm not going to be watching that. You can watch it. I'm not going to sit here and judge it, but that's not wrestling, man. That's not my cup of coffee. It's not my cup of coffee. Anyways, like I said, very solid addition for the all-out, fallout, all-out, whatever you want to say, edition of AEW. Like I said, man, Miro is all elite, baby. And listen here, Vince, you missed your opportunity. You missed your opportunity. Another man's trash is another man's treasure. And I hope Rusev makes all the money in the world, baby. I hope that man becomes a multi-millionaire off of what he's going to do in AEW. I hope he sells the most merch of AEW. I hope this guy sells out in merch multiple times where they have to make different shirts and then make like a bunch of production. Because listen here, Vince, they will continue to make the shirts. They won't say, oh, maybe we didn't make enough shirts if you sold out. Guess what, baby? They'll just make more. And then they'll sell out more. And then you, my friend, look like a dumbass. That's simple. That's simple. But for right now, I'm gonna hop off Vince's case. I'll be back. Don't worry. Don't worry, people. I'll be back next Monday. Because we don't have a pay-per-view this week. We don't have a pay-per-view for the first time in 3 weeks. I'm excited about that. Can relax a little bit. I'll see you guys on Monday. Not doing SmackDown. Haven't been doing SmackDown. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. AEW All Out Fallout just like as much as I did. But right now, it is your role model of the IWC telling you, Vince McMahon, to go shove it up your ass.